Okay, so it looks like we might finally be getting to the bottom of Angie Stone's passing. And the more we find out about her, the shadier the situation looks. And at this point, it's starting to get nastier and nastier every single time we talk about this. When we first found out about Angie's death, we thought it was just a simple, tragic accident, no more, no less. But it didn't take long before the red flags started waving, and boy, were those flags bright red. First, everything we were told about the accident was a big fat lie. Then we found out about how the driver behind the wheel of the truck that killed Angie has suddenly gone missing, and a whole lot of other details that just didn't add up. Well, it didn't take long for Jaguar Wright to step in and confirm our suspicions, claiming that Angie's death was a setup and that it was no ordinary accident. But that's not all, because I'll Be Sure also hinted the same thing, and he took it a step further to hint that this might all be tied to the whole Diddy case. It looks like there might be more to this story than we ever thought possible, so let's break this down. When the drama started, we thought it was all about her fight with UMG. See, in the weeks before her passing, she revealed that she found out that UMG and were stealing from her. She revealed that the theft was the reason she continued to work hard and was unable to retire after so many years in the industry. She also claimed that she was taking them to court, saying, "I've just discovered something that's been hidden in the dark for too long. My publishing was stolen, and guess what? I know exactly who did it. But don't get it twisted, I'm coming for you. All the dogs who thought they can take what's mine, trust I'm ready." Just like Jamie Foxx said, what had happened was, well, now it's my turn to share my testimony. It's a new chapter, and you can bet the truth is coming to light. Stay tuned. Unfortunately, she never got to go to court before she passed away in the accident. And talking about the accident, there are so many red flags involved. For example, one of the people in the van with her at the time of the crash revealed that Angie was suspicious in the moments leading up to her death. She claimed that the driver had suddenly started speeding up, and when Angie told him to slow down, he refused. According to reports, Sharita Murphy, who was one of 8 people in the van with Angie Stone, expressed gratitude on her Facebook page. "We are blessed to be alive." She credits Angie Stone's calm demeanor during the ordeal, alleging the van driver's extremely fast driving caused Angie Stone to request he slow down, but he failed to do so, resulting in the van flipping 3 times before being struck by an 18-wheeler and claiming the life of Angie Stone. Contrary to the first reports that we got, Angie didn't actually pass away from the first crash when the van she was in toppled over. She was rescued by a bystander, but just as the bystander pulled her out of the van, a semi-truck came rushing by, brushing past the Good Samaritan and ramming into Angie, her on the spot. Now, you'd expect the driver of the truck to be investigated or something like that, right? Well, that's probably not happening anytime soon, because it's kind of hard to investigate a missing person. Yep, you heard that right. The driver of the truck that conveniently came at the right time and Angie has suddenly gone missing. An anonymous source said, "I used to work at the same trucking company as the fella who ran into the Sprinter van that hit Miss Stone while she was being tended to on the side of the road. She was thrown a few yards due to the impact. I don't think he is going to return to work, honestly. This thing has tormented him, and he's not responding to the company's texts or phone calls. My wife reached out to his wife to offer support after we learned he turned in the rig and left. My former boss says his explanation was that he came upon the wreck too fast to make an adjustment to dodge the wreck. As I look at all the details that I have at my disposal, something just doesn't sound right about this. I'm surprised he hadn't been drinking, because there is an extensive history of that. Well, I'm not acting as if I'm Perry Mason with the wherewithal to solve the case, just thought I'd reach out." Yeah, this drama keeps getting shadier and shadier, and fans are convinced that there is a very high level of cover-up going on here, and it all ties back to Clive David. This whole situation has folks side-eyeing and asking some real uncomfortable questions about what actually went down with Angie. It's been weeks since that tragic crash, yet there's been nothing. No real investigation, no meaningful updates, and no explanation that actually adds up. It's almost like her death was meant to quietly fade into the background, like she was here one day, gone the next, and everyone was just expected to move on without a second thought. But here's the thing, people are thinking about it, because the way this all unfolded, it's not sitting right. Something feels off. And according to Jaguar Wright, there's a lot going on, because Angie's passing was not an accident.
What do they want?
What do you mean? They want their payment. They want their pound of flesh. They want you to keep feeding the system. Doesn't matter how hard she worked for it. That's not her money. That's their money. That's what they do. They've been robbing me for years.
Yep.
They stole more money from me than they stole from Angie. I can't stop thinking about Nick Carter and Aaron Carter. I can't stop thinking. Brother in the Illuminati, brother not in the Illuminati. Brother in the Illuminati commits all kinds of heinous crimes against women, and he's okay, but his brother's gone. And all he wanted was his money so he could push on. Like, how many of these things have to happen in front of the public? Of course they're going to attack I'll Be Sure. Of course they're going to attack me. Of course, they're going to attack anybody who's interested in the truth. Of course, they're going to come at us really hard for that first 72 hours and make sure we stop posting or at least get us flagged from being able to go live so nobody thinks about the details of the fact that we just watch Angie Stone get moved around in real time on her son's birthday.
But that's not all, because I'll Be Sure also has something interesting to say. See, a couple of days after Jaguar's passing, I'll Be Sure paid his respects to her on Instagram, but fans were convinced that he was secretly trying to pass a message about what really happened to Angie. He started off by saying, "I can't really gather my own thoughts at the moment to say anything close to describing the profoundly brave and amazing woman my sis star, Angie Stone, was, so I'll just let Angie say it to you all in our last text to each other." He went on to share a transcript from the text, and it was about the Diddy situation. Angie wrote, "Call me when you get a moment to chop it up with me. I've been praying hard for you ever since all this foolishness you've been saying for years finally been exposed and he going down. I didn't realize just how much craziness you had actually gone through, and it's so unfortunate. Know that I'm praying for you and supporting you on everything that you got going on. I pray that your son Quincy and yourself lock horn again and he walks away from that whole ratchet situation. As the whole world know, he deserves to be with his biological father at this time. I know that Kim is resting in paradise. She is born a couple of days before me, so I know her spirit well. I know how she rode, and I can assure you that she's been the one assisting you from the other side. Be blessed and know that I'm here for you no matter what. Peace and blessings, King." Now, if you know anything about I'll Be Sure and Diddy's history, then you know that him posting that text between him and Angie talking about Diddy was not a mistake. The text made it seem like he was close to Angie, so I'm sure they had lots of texts together. So the fact that he chose to post that specific text about Diddy makes his message loud and clear. Interestingly, a few months ago, Jaguar spoke about an encounter she had with Diddy where she asked her to pray for him because he was disturbed in his spirit.
"I just happened to be in the studio this particular day, and because he never ever really bothered with me or spoke to me in that fashion, I wasn't a part of Uptown, I was just at MCA. On this particular day, I was coming off the elevator. I will never forget it as long as I live. And Puffy came to me, first time, speaking to me as a decent human being. And he said, 'Hey, Miss Stone.' I said, 'Yeah, what's up?' He said, 'How are you?' I said, 'I'm fine. I'm shocked you speaking to me.' He said, 'Miss Stone, would you please pray with me?' I said, 'Well, of course.' When he asked me to pray with him, I believe at that moment Puffy was terrified for his life. I think that he was afraid because all of the things that had gone out and about that party, they were singling him out, and I don't think that he thought he was gonna survive.
Fans are adding two and two together, and it looks like Angie might have known more about Diddy's situation than she let on. That might explain why I'll Be Sure made sure to tie Diddy to the situation. If there is one person I'll Be Sure hates most in the world, it's definitely Diddy. So you can bet that him dragging Diddy into this was definitely not a coincidence or a mistake. But I want to know how y'all feel about these new revelations against Angie's death that are coming to light. Do you think that there's a conspiracy going on here, or do you think that it was just an accident and nothing more? Drop your thoughts in the comments and then check out this next video.